It's the BKBK podcast where sports and the culture collide and the New York Jets reign supreme. I'm your host, Brandon Phillips, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Brian Taylor, Kerry Taylor, and Captain Kyle McKenna. So, listen, everybody, during the week, us at Team BKBK were, spitballing ideas back and forth in regards to different topics for today's episode.
Yep.
And, we had a plan of what we wanted to talk about. And then out of nowhere on Friday, it was like, oh, snap. We see huge trades after huge trades.
Right.
We see, trades with Miami, San Francisco, Philly. And then after that, we all see a great pro day by Zach Wilson of BYU, quarterback of BYU.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly. Who I might add have been talking about since the early parts of November.
Knew this was coming.
Yeah. I gotta massage that in. I have to. So basically, plans have changed for our show as well as the Jets.
Yep. Well, maybe not for the Jets. Maybe those were the plans.
Well, maybe so. But You know what? Let's unpack it, right? Let's talk about the trades and what it means to us being Jets fans and the NFL. So basically, Act 1 is up. So I'm just going to read it verbatim. How has the trades with Miami, San Francisco, and Philly affected the Sam Darnold situation and his value? The key word is value. And what has it done for the value of the number 2 pick and Zach Wilson, considering his stellar pro day performance?
Sam Darnold stocks down. The number 2 pick stocks up.
Hey, yo, we got Darnold stocks down. Number 2 stocks up.
That's right. All right. So listen, it was a crazy day. The news that Miami San Fran trade came up. It was like, wow, right,
Yeah,
right, wow, which was crazy. And then shortly thereafter, you have them, meaning Miami, trade with Philly in order to move back up to 6. And I think the most significant piece of the puzzle, well, there's a couple pieces, but let's take the Philly part first, to me. And the news that Philly wanted to move up and get Zach Wilson. And the reason why they didn't move up is because they felt like Zach Wilson was going to be gone by 3. And I think that really started the spin from there. I mean, the San Fran moving up to 3 was conjecture. And you get the connections between San Fran and our current coach and Philly and our GM and them having some insider information there, right? You figure because they have a relationship with those prior organizations that they are in the know of what the Jets are going to do at number 2. And then layer that, and that happened right before, during the pro day for Zach Wilson when he threw that 60-yard pass where he was going to his left, threw back to his right, off platform, all over the contortionist, all over the place, which was absolutely crazy. And I think the excitement, at least from my perspective, was that, hey, Philly wanted him. So it's another team that was out there that, you know what, as an organization, they won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. They haven't been the most consistent organization since Andy Reid, right, when Andy Reid was there. And that's still in our adulthood from that perspective when Andy Reid was running that organization and they were always making the playoffs. So you feel like they're a reasonable organization that if they wanted Zach Wilson, wow, I mean, that confirms what the Jets should be looking at as far as the number 2 pick. And, Brandon and I have been, looking at Zach Wilson for a while, probably more so than Kyle. Kyle, I don't know if he likes him at all at this point. I guess he'll say so. But
I'll have some comments on that and the pro day in a second. I'm letting you finish.
Okay. I didn't want to be, I didn't want to disappoint Mel Kiper and be out there like, oh my God, it's pro day, and then go crazy per se. But I think
I don't mind disappointing Mel Kiper.
But
I don't mind disappointing.
You love his hair, don't you? But I think
I'll take anyone's hair at this point. I don't care.
I just
me too.
Funny. So I just felt like, man, Zach Wilson, it's a quarterback, really like how he looked in the pro day, on top of the fact that other teams are valuing him as well. And it, hopefully provided some clarity for all of us here on what the Jets were going to do with the number 2 pick, right? So it was almost like a pre-draft Christmas, with everything wrapped into one.
And, let me just add on before Kyle hops in. I mean, I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say. But what also interested me too was his interviews. They played some of his interviews, and he interviewed well. He seems like an enthusiastic young man. And I also read that, he spoke to Joe Douglas after the pro day, had positive things to say about the Jets, and is just fired up and looking forward to the opportunity. So, people were saying that he is, I think his uncle owns JetBlue or something like that. And he's one of those like high sedity kids who thinks he's better than everybody else. And I did not get that notion. He looked like he was out there ready to work. He did his thing. And then also I'm getting positive feedback from just, little sources here and there about his interviews at his pro day. So far it's all positives. I think it would have been even better if some of those receivers, especially the one on the right hash, would catch the ball a little more. I saw one guy drop like 3 of his balls that were perfectly put, and I was like, what's this guy doing? But I did hear that they only had 4 receivers out there, and those guys were starting to get a little winded. So, he had them running all over the place. So they had to come back and, do it again and do it again. But I liked him before, and I love the kid now. So it's grown.
I think it just confirms the tape for me. Right. I mean, the stuff that you saw on tape, because to me, that's the number one thing is what did he do on tape? And then the things that you saw at the pro day, same things he was doing on tape, which is crazy. And I think the number one thing I like about this guy, it's not, and that to me differentiates him over Darnold, because very much so, I feel like we have a young quarterback in. He struggled. I get it. But I'm not going to bring somebody in unless I feel like he's going to be head and shoulders better than what we have. And that's, to me, what it is, head and shoulders, right? Above the shoulders, up here, being able to read defenses, make quick decisions, pre-snap, post-snap, all of those things. By all accounts, he's a guy that performs well in that space, right? Based on
what I noticed on his game films,
looking off the safety,
knows how to throw that ball over the linebacker's head, but before the safeties get there. In like a zone or whatever, and I noticed that Sam kind of struggles there. I noticed
Sam does struggle. That was something that I was going to point out, but you're absolutely right. That's one of Sam's.
Go ahead, Kerry. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
No, you're right. Yes, that's absolutely one of his struggles. I'm just reinforcing what your position is on that.
Absolutely, and then it just becomes more precarious when you're trying to do that on the run. And that leaves Sam Darnold making even worse decisions because he's kind of flustered. He's running out of the pocket and he wants to make something happen and he tries to do something like that. And then he's throwing directly to the defense. And I'm like, what are you doing? And we've all been there. We've all watched him. Right. And we're texting each other like, what is he doing?
Right.
And then they replay it and he's like, he threw it right to the guy. Right. So, listen, I love Sam. I wish him well. I wish him all the success in the world. I got to meet him once. He's a great kid. I just don't want him on my team anymore. Kyle, I would love to hear what you have to say.
All right. So first of all, let's break down what a pro day is. A pro day is watching a guy throw the ball. That's it. That's all it is. There's
if you can't win pro day, then you don't deserve to be drafted. That's all I'm saying.
You're throwing on air, and what you're really looking at is how are the mechanics of this quarterback, and how does the ball look coming out of his hands on all the throws he needs to make. Mm-hmm. So he very much impressed in all those ways with the off platform throws, but even like his outs. Like I'm watching this and I'm like, that ball, I love the way the ball comes out. I love the way that the whip, the spiral, the placement, all these things. All those things were really, really nice. And then I said to myself, maybe I'm starting to fall in love with this kid. So I go back and I look at Dwayne Haskins' pro day, and I look at Sam Darnold's pro day, and I look at Mac Jones's pro day, and I tried to find Browning Nagel's pro day, but I couldn't find that.
Wow.
And the point I'm trying to make here is that most professional quarterbacks are going to look really good on their pro day. So it really does go back to the film, like Brandon said. And that's been my biggest question mark with Zach Wilson the entire time, is that I think that he played a real downgraded level of competition. A lot of the feedback that I'm hearing too from the pro scouts is that he's not a great full field reader of coverage and going from one read to the next, but neither is Sam Darnold, in my opinion, either. So what this is going to come down to for us, as many mock drafts as I do, I don't see us being able to go anywhere other than Zach Wilson at 2, if we stay at 2, because even if we keep Sam Darnold as our second quarterback or to fight it out, he wouldn't even be as expensive of a backup as Joe Flacco.
Right.
So with that said, I think that what we're really looking at right now is that we have a pool of 5 quarterbacks that could be our starting quarterback next year. Zach Wilson's one, Sam Darnold's another, Justin Fields is another, Trey Lance is another, Mac Jones is another. After watching Mac Jones's pro day next to the
Zach Wilson,
the Zach pro day, I would throw Mac Jones way down on that list. He's not a viable guy to come in and beat out Sam Darnold. So, put Mac Jones at 5. I watched Trey Lance's pro day. I don't think Trey Lance I don't think he's the same as the other 3 that we haven't mentioned yet. So put Trey Lance at 4.
Too much risk there too. Just not enough tape. Not enough tape for me too.
Also level of competition and style of offense.
Yep.
And
say BYU's level of competition is better than
Trey Lance
competition. If
in
you were to include
in 2019, yeah,
2020, because 2019 they played Utah, they played Tennessee, they played USC, Washington.
And his stats aren't unbelievable. They're not second quarterback in the draft stats.
That's true.
Yeah, they're pedestrian.
And he was tweaked as far as a little hurt.
He did have some, and that's why I sent you guys the list there of top 10 performances by Zach Wilson, and some of those teams from 2019 were on there. So, And it was first year as a starter. So, you got to give him a little something from that perspective. But yeah, sure. Level of competition this year in 2020. There's nothing that, we could say about the fact that he did not play those same teams this year. But he did perform well against some of those teams in 2019.
You can't compare him to Pat Mahomes.
No.
In my opinion,
No.
If he doesn't have 2 games that equal one of Pat Mahomes in college. So, I think that's a little bit of a hype up comparison. But getting back to what I was saying, though, so that means your top 3 quarterbacks that you're talking about here are Sam Darnold to start for the Jets next year. Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, or Zach Wilson. And unless we know where Sam Darnold is going to be next year or what the intentions are of the organization as to whether to keep him or move him, and that might be a fluid situation right now. I think that I would pick Zach Wilson over Justin Fields. However, there are some that feel that Justin Fields is better. I'm not one of them right now. I would probably go with the, but I think that's an opinion, not necessarily a fact thing. Justin Fields has great film against great competition, and he dealt with adversity. He played a heck of a game after getting like a fractured rib. Yeah. So, I think that's what that's the essence of the conversation here is who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Jets next year and who's going to be the backup. And it's not going to be James Morgan or White, whoever our backups are right now. It's going to either be Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, or Justin Fields as our starting quarterback.
I'll tell you what, Kyle. The thing that has turned me off to Darnold, if you just look at the pro days and you listen to the commentary of each respective pro day for the 3 individuals that you just mentioned, and you talk about their pros and their cons, when you listen to and just their play in the season. When you listen to commentators talking about Zach Wilson, you listen to commentators talking about Fields. They don't talk about turnovers. They don't talk about interceptions and turnovers and fumbles. But they always go back to. I was listening to Keyshawn Johnson. He was commentating live on Sam Darnold's pro day in 2018 in the rain and everything. And all he kept, not all, but a lot of what he kept talking about was how good of a skilled player Sam Darnold was. But the one thing that he's got to clean up are his turnovers. And we see that reflected. We saw that reflected the last 3 years. Sam is not just throwing interceptions. He'll fumble it on you too, And, okay, you're not developing as fast as you want, but maybe you could clean up the turnover aspect of your game just a little bit better. And it has not happened. So and listen, I like Sam, I really do, but it's just too big of a question mark for me now to not go with Zach Wilson and Fields. I rank them both above Sam Darnold right now.
Yeah, and
let me just end on one thing, Brian. So just to go back to the pro day thing and to put it all in perspective, Louis Riddick, who we all respect, we think he's a good football mind. He posted a picture after everybody was going crazy about Zach Wilson's off-platform, across his body throw to the end zone. The throw of the pro day that that made it all. There it is.
Twitter live.
He posted the video of Sam Darnold doing the same exact throw in an NFL game against people to Jameson Crowder for a touchdown. And with the comment, I guess nobody's ever seen this throw before. This is the first time anybody's seen this throw, right? So, that's the perspective of a pro day. I'm not going to gush too much. I'm going to try to evaluate based on all of it. And that's what I think the Jets will do. But, Sam Darnold is not unskilled. He's just the lowest rated starting quarterback in the league.
And I hear what Louis Riddick is saying. Oh, I guess, you've never seen that. That's fine, but let's compare the turnovers now. Okay, fine. They both made that throw, but now let's compare the turnovers. Turnovers in the NFL, you lose games that way, And,
right. Well, if you're going to talk about, if you're going to come with that perspective, then you have to also, and I agree with what everything Coach Kyle is saying, but if you're going to come with that turnover perspective, then you also have to look at the competition. You got to bring back the competition in terms of this discussion. Was Zach Wilson going against the level of competition that Sam Darnold was going against in terms of that turnover issue that he's had? You have a lot more film. You have a lot more film to look at with Sam Darnold than you do with Zach Wilson.
Well, with Justin Fields, I mean, that level of competition is, I would say, arguably higher for Justin Fields than you would say for Sam Darnold. And I would say this.
But I'm just talking about it from the perspective of most of us. Well, I shouldn't say most of us. Not even the majority. Half of us believe that Zach Wilson is the answer here, right? And I'm not saying that I don't believe he's the answer, but I just want to bring in a little bit of perspective in terms of trading up to 3 or higher, what the results have been for a quarterback. Mitch Trubisky, Goff, Carson Wentz, dare I say Sam Darnold, and Robert Griffin III. So, although we're sitting at 3, although we're sitting at 2, the teams that traded up to 3, the team that traded up to 3 was San Francisco. And with that track record, this is not a sure thing, right? And the thing about it is that you guys know that what I've been saying is that given the opportunity, if we can trade down or trade back and pick up additional picks in the first round or a high second round, then I'm all for it. The problem here is I don't see us being able to find a partner at 2 that is going to provide us with enough capital that is high enough for us to accept it. So you're talking about either San Francisco, who just made a trade to get the 3, right? Or Atlanta at 4. I'm not trading back to 8.
I mean, Philly's at
if
6.
I lose the
Philly's at
opportunity,
6, and they want Zach. So
yeah, but Philly wants Zach. Philly wants Zach. So that's my point. If I'm trading back, I'm only trading back for either Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, and I'm not comfortable trading back for Justin Fields at this point. To 8.
You can't trade out of 2 unless you have a starting quarterback.
Right. I mean,
right.
And
that's my point. Well, you can if you think that Zach Wilson is no better or no worse than Lance or Justin Fields. If you can get him at either 3, 4, or 8, because those are the positions. Those are the. Excuse me.
Well, you can't.
Because those are
the trades have proven that you can't get Zach Wilson past 2, right? So if you trade out of 2, Zach Wilson is gone. So
now, what I'm saying is that prior to these 2 trades that took place, that was a possibility. That was still a possibility. I think what has happened is that these teams have shown their hand in that the number 2 pick is coveted. Significantly coveted because of who's sitting there, Zach Wilson.
So, Kerry, so what right now, are you trading out of this pick or are you keeping number 2?
No, because I'm not getting what I want. I'm not going to be able to get what I want if I were to.
What do you want?
And that's either still getting him or say getting
him. Who?
To me, it would just be Justin Fields at this point.
So you like Justin Fields better than Zach?
I do not. But what I'm saying is that at the point that I would.
I'm just a little confused about who you want at number 2. If you didn't trade at all,
if I'm staying where I am at 2, then it would have to be Zach Wilson.
You sound disappointed in that answer.
I am because what I wanted was a quarterback that showed the potential of being better than Darnold at a position that we could take and acquire more picks.
Gotcha.
I don't see that scenario coming.
I'm with you. So Kerry, I think we're on the same page, but I just think I've come to that conclusion a lot sooner than you have.
Sooner than I came to that conclusion because of the activity that occurred on Friday. Right. It occurred on Friday. It happened on Friday, right?
So to me, and I've come to this conclusion a long time ago, is that we're not going to be able to trade back and get Zach Wilson. And ideally, I would love to, right? I mean, that sounds awesome. Like, let's trade back to 8 or to 6 or to 4 or to wherever and get more assets and have our cake and eat it too. But when you have somebody that, all intents and purposes, sounds like a consensus is forming that they are the number 2 quarterback ranked in this draft, and you're sitting at number 2, you can't move back and think that they're going to fall to you at that point. It's not feasible. And for me, I look at it this way. I'm looking at a couple years ahead as well, where how are the quarterbacks ranked in the draft in 2022?
Not good.
Right? You've got Trevor Lawrence, which far and away is our number 1 guy. I think all of us would, if we're number 1 and we're sitting where Jacksonville is. I mean, it's a consensus. We're picking that guy. And now a consensus is forming as far as the number 2. So if you're number 2 to a guy that would probably go number 1 in the past 3 or 4 years worth of drafts, right? Trevor Lawrence probably goes number 1, in 2019. Probably goes number 1 in 18. I mean, maybe you got Chase Young out there. You know what I mean? That might fight with him. I mean, Joe Burrow, forget about it. It's Trevor Lawrence. I mean, are you going Trevor Lawrence or are you going Baker Mayfield? I mean, please.
Remember, Joe Joe Burrow
Yeah,
was.
but
a
again,
one-year deal
but was
too.
Trey Lance on anybody's radar last year?
I think Joe
He
Burrow would
was.
have gone above. I think Joe Burrow,
But not to the extent that you would say I'm going to wait until next year, and that's the same can be said about Zach Wilson.
Hey.
I'm not going to wait next year for this guy because he's going to develop so much so that I can wait to pick him. I don't think he was on anybody's radar like that.
So, but let's further complicate it. Do you expect the Jets to be picking number 2 next year?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. So
but my point is that you might have the assets to trade up.
So you're going to use up the assets now, or the asset that you have right now, and have your selection, or you're going to wait until a lot of question marks as far as is there going to be a quarterback potentially next year available to you. Are you going to give up the entire draft that you have or capital that you've accumulated with the Jamal Adams trade to move up? So that's your 2 ones next year in order to move up, in order to get this guy, plus whatever else you got to give up. Think about what San Fran gave up just to move from 12 to 3. That's 9 slots. And I'm hoping that we're not picking that high. So there's a lot of draft capital. So it's either
but they're giving up a lot of future capital. They're not giving up a lot of this year's capital. That would preclude me from not making that trade.
This year, next year, it's still 3 ones. You're still 12 this year, and you still got 2 future first round picks. So
it's really 2 ones. It's really 2 ones. Oh, well, I don't count the one that you're
okay.
on.
Okay.
Let me just chime in real quick.
Yeah.
I think we as Jets fans and a lot of other Jets fans out there, we get caught up in the number 2 pick and trading that or versus not trading it or whatever. Let's just remember, we also have the 23rd pick and we have Sam Darnold, So that is, we can trade down and accumulate more stuff from those 2 picks as well. And what we need on our team, we need interior linemen. There's a bunch that we can get in the
interior
second round.
Offensive linemen, just to clarify.
What's that?
Interior offensive linemen, just
that is
to
correct.
clarify.
Interior offensive linemen, yes. We need cornerbacks. We need, a bunch of other things, but we can acquire those things in the latter part of the first to the second round. Go ahead, Kyle.
So Daniel Jeremiah posed a trade with Denver that I think is something that could be very good in the scenario that we're talking about. So let's say that we draft. I agree with Kerry. We can't move out of 2, and we probably have to pick Zach Wilson if that's who we want. Well. All right. So let's say that that's a done deal. If we could package Sam Darnold and pick number 34 to Denver for their, I believe it's the 12th pick, or maybe it's not the 12th pick. Maybe I'm mixing that up with the 49ers.
Denver 9? Is Denver 9?
I'll check right now.
Yeah.
If we could package Sam Darnold and 34 and move up, even if it's like maybe a third rounder from 22 or something like that. Maybe not a third rounder, but something else. If we could get their 9th pick,
Denver picked 9,
and then get like a Slater or Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yeah, 9. You had me at Slater.
Say it again, Kerry. No. Say it right. Say yes.
So I don't know what it takes to get that deal done, but
and then go out and get Alex Smith as your backup.
When you go out and get any of these street free agents as a backup, like you can go out and get.
No.
Well,
I'm with you. But go ahead, Kyle. Get the rest of your thought out though.
You could also draft another rookie to be your backup, and I've been talking about that from the get go. You could get like a third shelf winner from this draft, like Ian Book.
I knew it. I knew it.
I was waiting for it. There it is. Boom.
No.
You can predict
and here's why I disagree with that. Here's why I disagree with that. Because you signed free agents like Carl Lawson, Corey Davis, Keelan Cole, with the understanding that we're going to compete now. You got to have somebody that is sitting there at quarterback that is going to at least deliver on that promise. And I'm
on eggshells with Alex Smith every second he's on the field.
I understand that, but at least he gives you a chance at backup, and he's a veteran presence that you did not now tell these guys and basically bamboozle these guys into thinking that they're going to get the ball, or they're going to be competing for a division championship.
You know what, Kerry? I'm with you on that too.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Yeah.
With that argument, though, I know you want to use Sam as an asset if you can to move up in the draft, but he's also an asset as a backup quarterback at the salary cap number that he's at too.
Exactly.
I agree. I totally agree with you on that. Yeah.
I'd rather have the 30 best quarterback
he has started in this league for 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. I agree with you, Kyle. He's started in this league for 3 years. Whether he's a backup or a starter, if I'm coming here and I'm saying at least I have somebody here that could be capable of doing what they said.
I would not feel so. I would not.
Again,
feel
if you
so
trade
bad
him
if
away,
Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold were both on our team next year.
Exactly.
I'm good with it. with it. But again, if you trade him away for Slater, I am good. But you better go get Alex Smith or somebody who's capable of winning regardless, and is a veteran presence in that quarterback room.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yep. I agree with that.
Because you can't go get Ryan Fitzpatrick because somebody already got him.
Right.
Coming back in.
Right. And if you did that already, then you're already showing your hand.
Well, Ryan Fitzpatrick replaced Alex Smith as the backup, right?
Yes. Well, not the backup,
Washington?
the starter.
For Washington?
Yeah. Oh, he's going to be the starter in Washington?
He's a starter. He's going to be the starter, yeah.
With that great defense, and they have weapons. They have they signed the receiver from Carolina. They already have what's his name, McLaurin or whatever his name is. They're going to be a good team. They're going to win that division, and their defense is ridiculous.
That division's shite.
Yeah, So
and I said it like that, so I wasn't cursing. That was more of a
as the
more
Brits say.
English.
As the Brits say.
Yeah,
as the Brits say.
So let's move on, all right? Because we've been talking a lot about draft and this and that and draft equity. People love that phrase, don't they? They probably just came up with that 4 or 5 years ago, and that's it, But anyway, so listen, the second part that we're going to talk about, guys, let's talk about JD. Who's JD? JD is Joe Douglas. He's the GM of the New York Jets. Free agency, all righty? It's kind of tailing off now a little bit. It was pretty exciting, a week or two ago, to just kind of look at things that we want this guy, we want that guy. Did we like JD's approach to free agency? Do we like our acquisitions? How does it affect the way that we're going to approach the draft coming up as well? So, you know what, Kerry, I would love to hear your thoughts, with that borderline angry / happy face that you have on. To Joe Douglas's approach to free agency. Are you happy? Are you not so happy? And how does that affect our draft?
I sum it up as we knew this was coming, right? If you look at his track record in the school of Ozzie Newsome, it is, I'm not making big splashes in free agency. I'm signing free agents to my contract, and I am going to build this team through the draft, cheap labor. And if I miss on someone or I decide that who I did draft, I don't want to sign them for any other reason, then I get compensatory picks and I keep it moving. So from that perspective, my thing is also the off season is not just free agency. It is the draft as well. So we're gonna what is our criteria for having a good draft? How many of those draft picks are going to be starters? So, most of us have said if you get 3 or 4 starters out of the draft, then you pretty much had a successful draft. Oh, am I correct in saying that?
I remember Herm Edwards.
25.
That's a home run to me.
Yeah, that's
right. So if we look at last year's draft, Mekhi Becton, Denzel Mims, Ashton Davis, P. Ryan, Bryce Hall.
So
They, at one point or another, have started for us last year.
sure. So, but here's my retort.
Okay.
Here's my retort to that, though.
I don't want to hear your retort yet. I'm not done.
You're not done? Oh, sheesh.
No, I'm not done.
What was it? I break
Okay.
your concentration? Well, allow me to retort.
Okay, all right.
Right. I'm not done. So now let's go into who they signed.
I gotta take notes. Sheesh, guys.
Carl Lawson, who I love. Tell me you don't.
Okay.
Corey Davis, who I've said from the beginning, this is the guy that you want to target because of he's on the precipice of being a 1A, 1B, 2A receiver. He improves your core overall.
Run blocking.
Keelan Cole,
Sure.
Keelan Cole, who is a under the radar guy that many teams were after. Again, we could talk about Dan Freeney. I'm not really a big Dan Freeney guy, but I think he what he does is increases your depth at offensive line, which we significantly need.
Terrible. I think Feeney's terrible. But go ahead.
Okay. Vinny Curry.
Love it.
None of us were mad at that.
Nah, love
right?
that pick. Love that pick.
Again, it's a depth move.
And you know what
It's
else?
a depth move.
And none of us were even thinking about him too. And when we signed him, we
None
were like,
of
oh,
us.
snap.
None of us. Who's that? Until we look at what he
No.
brings, what he-
I know Vinny Curry.
bring to the
I didn't
table.
know he was a free agent, but I know the guy. Absolutely.
and then improving at a point of strength. Sheldon Rankins.
Yeah.
On the defensive line.
Interior tackle.
Interior defensive line. It looks like they're trying to recreate the 49ers of old, of the last 2 years. So what I will say is that free agency of last year, not as high on, or not high at all, honestly, on his picks. But I like his free agency period this year. Would I rather have had it? Would I wanted a high-end offensive lineman? Yes, in no uncertain terms. But would I have paid Thuney, or the center for Green Bay? And would I have been able to get them here? I think the honest answer is no, considering where they ended up going and for how much they went there for.
Just a little tea leaf for you, Kerry. I heard that the Jets didn't even reach out to the center of Green Bay, his agents or anything. So they made no attempts to grab that.
If that's true, then I'm not happy with that. But again, I don't know what the overall picture is going to look like. Oh, he wants the overall picture to look like in terms of moving over our center, our current center, to guard, which is what we think should occur. Right? But we don't know.
True.
We don't know.
All right.
True.
Are you done? Are you?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. All right. So, listen, I'm with you as far as the 3 to 4 starters from the draft, and that makes it a successful draft, unless your roster has craters in it where there's no competition for them to start. And I think Mekhi Becton, there's not a lot of competition for him to be the left tackle. But, I mean, listen, I think he did a great job this year, besides maybe staying on the field a little bit more. Some of the other folks, it was just there's nobody there, right, at cornerback. There's nobody there, and hence the reason why we're back in the market for a cornerback. Ashton Davis, we traded away our all-pro strong safety, and then the guy we brought in from Seattle did an average job, probably below average overall. Right, so he starts, or starts a couple of games in there as well. And Mims, who do we have in that wide receiver group? And I'm a Mims guy, at this point. So I'm not trying to say that they weren't good draft picks, but what I would say is that we had zero competition for them to start or compete against either. We just didn't have the talent. Now, I think I think Joe Douglas did a
on a
pretty
team
good
that
job.
didn't have, and on a team that didn't have any talent to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think he improved the talent level based on the draft picks that he came in. Bryce Hall, I like that pick. Value pick later on in the draft because of the injury, all of that. So I think he's done a better job, and we'll see where he takes the draft this year. But he's done a much better job in general with the draft than he's done so far with free agency. And I think he was in a no-win situation with.
I don't think you can make that statement. I don't think you can make that statement yet.
Well, I mean,
he's only had one.
Yeah, I think
he's only had one free agency for you to evaluate.
Sure,
but those other players haven't been on the field yet.
So free agency last year was garbage, right? So we can definitely say that you got an F.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
So you got an F. So if we're grading an F on free agency, and this year I'd probably give him a B, overall in free agency. And I would say last year, as far as the draft is concerned, I give him like a B plus with the draft. So he's already in a position of power. He has to totally bomb the draft for me in order for me to say after the draft is concerned that he's done a better job in free agency than in the draft after doing two of both. That's just my opinion. What I would say is that, listen, Carl Lawson, unproven to a degree. He's got a lot of pressures, hasn't gotten home a lot. So we'll see based on the scheme with Salah and what he's going to put together if he can get there. So a lot of money, a lot of guaranteed money for somebody that's your top number one free agent that you haven't really seen the production yet. I mean, he's not an all-pro guy, right? But a guy who's up and coming. And you can see where JD spends his free agent money is folks that are up and coming. They're coming off their first contract. Maybe their team didn't give them that fifth-year option, right, or take that fifth-year option, and now they're free agents. Not folks that are all pros and that have proven it in the league yet. These are all up and coming. With that, there's inherent risk, right? So you have somebody like Corey Davis was number 3 pick, 4 years ago or 3 years ago with the Titans.
He was number 6.
Number 6, okay, but top 6 pick. Whereas if the team wanted to keep him, if he was valued by the Titans to that degree, he wouldn't have hit free agency. So there's kind of the give and take with that. But again, he's still young.
I mean, but you can say that with any free agency. You can say that with any free agent, though.
I mean, Thuney wasn't that, but we didn't have an opportunity to get Thuney because of Kansas City. I can't fault JD for Thuney. I can't. I really can't.
Go ahead. Let me say one thing. I can't fault him either, but I do disagree with your grade of giving him a B for this season, Brian, for his free agency acquisitions. I'm going to give him a C plus ish because also we still it's not about necessarily getting it's really about filling the holes too, and we have gaping holes at major positions. Cornerback is a major position,
and that's where I was getting
cornerbacks that you're hearing Quan Williams, you're hearing this and that, you're hearing Adoree Jackson, all these like premier players, 26 years old, you know what I'm saying? Like with all this potential and proven body of work that we're just not getting, or some of the times not even attempting to get. We saw our decimated interior offensive line, and we signed Feeney. He is absolutely terrible. When you read up on him, he is abysmal. He shouldn't even be on our
right. He should be a cut candidate.
Like we should be giving like Kerry's favorite lineman from Carolina last year. He was always not Carolina.
Charlotte, yeah.
Cameron Clark. You talking about?
Yes, Cameron Clark. How many times last year Kerry was like, "Why don't we see him? Why don't we see him?" I would want to see him more than I want to see Feeney. Feeney is absolutely terrible. We have not addressed our interior offensive line and our cornerbacks.
But there wasn't a lot there in the interior offensive line, though. B. I mean, I would, if there was a plan B or a plan C, it was really just a plan A. I mean, Thuney was the A, and once he was gone,
settled for a plan F.
So was Lindsley. Lindsley was definitely our plan A as well.
No, he wasn't. We never reached out to him.
First of all,
I'm talking about for us. I'm talking about our plan A.
Let me hear from Kyle.
Oh, ours, yeah, but not the Jets. Go ahead.
All right. I'm much more on Kerry's side with this than Brian and Brandon. Just first of all, we have to remember we pick draft picks. We make a decision, we evaluate, we make a decision, we make a pick. Free agents pick us. We don't pick free agents. We can't make people come here. Now, if you're gonna kill JD for his first year of free agency, you have to remember that I don't know if Brian or Brandon, you would have signed with the Jets with Adam Gase as the coach. You hated him.
And before you continue, Kyle, in agreement. We all were in agreement with the offensive linemen that they signed last year. We in fact praised him for signing.
We weren't all.
In the guard.
We weren't all. But go ahead.
Well, I think Van Rotten was. I can't not say Van Rotten. I know it's Van Roten, but it always comes out as Van Rotten. Shout out to Rockville Center, South Side, Chaminade. But the McGovern signing was widely liked, I think, by all of us, and we hope that he returns to form.
Yes.
I think that getting back to my point that the free agents have to pick us. Lawson is the Robert Saleh effect. I heard Lawson's Zoom call. That's why he signed with us. He wanted to come be with Robert Saleh. He likes what that entails. And I think that
Tevin Coleman.
Okay.
Yeah, Tevin. Although I don't think much of that signing until Tevin Coleman shows me something. I still want to draft a running back.
Sure.
In the draft, and I like P. Ryan and Johnson, but I think that when it comes down to what can we offer these free agents that they want to come here? Now, let's say that the Jets didn't even reach out to Lindsley, the center from Green Bay. Okay, I would not be surprised if there's 3 centers that I would draft in this draft that I think that are going to be cheap and are going to be good pros. Creed Humphrey, Landon Dickerson, and Josh Myers.
Love them.
With our draft capital, we will get one of those 3 if we want them. There's a right tackle in this draft that I think is, he's rising on boards. Liam Achtenberg from Notre Dame. And that's a guy that we can get in that second, third round if he doesn't. He is springboarding up a little bit right now. But, there's the Elijah Vera Tuckers, there's the Slaters. You're not going to get a shot at those unless you either, spend some capital to trade up a little bit or they fall to you. So I think that I'm not ready to go crazy about what we didn't do O-line wise in free agency.
Right.
And free agency to me is how can you best entice players to come here to help fill your holes before you go and pick players that you want. And
can I answer that question for you, Kyle?
Yeah.
I would say that you offer them a little bit more money when you have the second most cap space in all of the NFL and maybe not selecting as many peripheral players like Feeney or, that other cornerback who's just really going to play special teams and those types of players. Maybe, up it a little bit more and try to change the culture of your franchise. You already have a coach in here that's got a great name. And then now in like 1 or maybe just 2 instances and circumstances, you offer a little bit more money. So I feel like they did that in getting Lawson here, right, with the guaranteed money, and then we did that with getting a wide receiver here, not as much, and I think one more person like a cornerback they could have offered, good money to, and then from there continue on. I just feel like the cornerback position and the interior offensive lineman position, we saw last year is just so incredibly valuable, especially like we were just getting beat on those fronts every single week that we needed to address them more thoroughly in free agency. At least getting one of those positions.
We got a new defense.
What's that?
We got a new defense. We have a new defense. It's going to be zone schemed, and so they might feel that the defensive backs that we have right now fit well. Bless, and again, I'm just saying from the perspective of we don't really know, and there are other. We were also talking about Richard Sherman. There's a high level cornerback that hasn't been signed. Right, it's still out there. There's a high level cornerback that hasn't been signed from the Steelers, Nelson. That's still dangling out there. That could be definitely a good scheme guy. So I'm more concerned, less than Kyle is, about the offensive line than I am about. I'm less concerned about the cornerback position than I am about the offensive line. I think there's still options out there for us.
I think you're referring a little bit to a conversation I think you're referring a little bit to a conversation we had on text thread about where to go in that 23-34 pick, where you're not going to get a necessary plug and play starter past the first round at corner in this draft.
Right.
But to go back to what Brandon's saying, like, I don't disagree with throwing more money at people.
Right.
But again, like, there's stuff here that we just don't have the information for.
That's true.
We don't know. They have to accept it.
That's true.
We could have thrown as much money as we want. We could have thrown the same amount of money as Kansas City threw with Tunney, and we would not have signed him.
That's true. That is a very
Lindsley too with the Chargers.
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, again, there's factual proof that we never reached out, so I think that's a little.
No, I'm not saying. What I'm saying is that maybe they reached out. I mean, we also get rumors about whether or not a player would even consider signing here. If he put the word out, like, don't even bother calling me, then you're gonna get that. You're not gonna get that.
So
people that don't want to live in New York too. Like New York is not a place for everybody.
And
or Florham Park, New Jersey.
And there's a LaFleur connection too, because you got the head coach there. That's the brother of our offensive coordinator, so he's probably got some intel on the center and if he would be a good fit for us. So I'll buy into that a little bit. That's why I kind of left it as a B. To me, what I would say is that we use free agency in order to plug some holes, so you can go BPA in the draft, right? So you don't have to reach for a need.
So then, Brian, that's a perfect segue into this, and then Kyle, I'll let you speak. But I
just want to quickly say what I liked and what I didn't. What sleeper and
yeah, we're going to tackle that in a bit. But let's put up the asset of the mock draft that I did, and then we can kind of pick and prod at that. So I did a mock draft. There were no trades in it, just to keep it nice and simple. And we've been talking about, what are we going to do, with the 23rd pick, et cetera, and things of that nature. And we've just spoken about, our free agency and how the Jets have attacked it, some of us are singing the praises, some of us are not. But regardless, it's going to affect how we go about drafting. So this is what I put up. And Brian, you said that it's up, right?
Yeah, it's up. So you got pick 2 through, your first 5 picks are showing right now.
I don't know who this Haitian corner you picked from Minnesota is.
Haitian from Minnesota?
St. Just? That's a Haitian guy, right?
He might be a Haitian guy. Yeah.
That sounds like a Haitian.
We didn't even get there. You want to run through the first 5 picks that you got, and then I'll put up the other
picks. Zach Wilson, boom. We know that that's a thing, and that's it. And I love the kid. I want to get him. And then what was available to me at who I could not pass up at 23 was Elijah Vera Tucker. He plays tackle for USC, but they're saying that he's so athletic and everything that basically what I heard from a coach was that they are comparing him to Quentin Nelson right now. Elijah Vera Tucker.
First I've heard of that.
They're comparing him to that. And the reason why people aren't seeing it right now is because Quentin Nelson played guard throughout his Notre Dame career, but Elijah Vera Tucker played tackle, and they're looking.
He played both, Brandon.
Yeah, they kicked him out to tackle, right? Because he was playing guard in 2019.
There was I forget the guy's name. There was a tackle Winston Justice, is that who I'm thinking of? There was a tackle that played at USC that was drafted high last year, and he played guard next to that guy at a high level, and then kicked out to left tackle
after he left.
So so that's not a maybe he can play guard.
Gotcha.
That's he can play guard at a high level.
Copy that. And they said that he's gonna play guard, at a high level in the NFL. So that's a great thing, and I love it. So he was available, and like I said, I did not manipulate this draft. I just took it as it came to me. The second pick in the second round, the number 34 pick. Guys, I've been talking about this guy. I've been talking about Zach Wilson, and then my number one guy on defense, and it's a position that I feel like we need. I think we need an edge, outside linebacker, inside linebacker. He's a utility linebacker. I love the kid from Toledo, Zaven Collins. He's 6'4", 260 pounds. He can cover. He can rush.
Tulsa, not Toledo.
Huh?
He's a Tulsa. Golden Wave, not a Zip.
Yeah.
How much can you like him? You don't even know what school he go to. Come
exactly. On, jeez.
What did I say? Toledo by accident?
Show his name is Zaven, bro. You show his name is Zaven?
I meant to say Tulsa. My bad.
It's Zavon. It's Zavon. I'm kidding.
I thought it was Aaron.
I think there's more of a chance. I think I said to you offline, I thought this was a great draft. I just don't know how based.
I don't think either of those guys are going to be there. But if they are,
I think it sucks.
I think more of a chance. I think to Brandon's point, Tucker.
What's my point, Gary? Talk to me.
I think Tucker is going to be picked prior to 23, right?
Yeah. But
Collins might be there at 34. But the point that I want to make that I agree with Brandon is that if this draft were to fall out the way it is, the way he's picked, then I ain't got no problem with the free agency that JD has done.
And here's my point. Like, I know.
Boo to both of y'all. Yeah.
I've even prefaced it by saying, I probably don't think that the draft is going to fall this way, but certain things happen in drafts. Last year, we did not think that we would get Mims in the middle of the second round.
Well, listen, why don't you get through the rest of the draft so I can pick it apart? How about that?
Can I ask a question?
Right in front of your face.
Can I ask a question about pick 66?
Pick 66. Go for it.
All right, so you got Rashad Weaver, edge out of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is like Miami, where they got two edge guys that could get drafted anywhere between first round and the fourth round.
Yep.
So very talented at the edge. My question to you is, was Josh Myers or Liam Eichenberg available at 66 when you made that pick?
I think Josh Myers was already gone, but I think Liam was already there. I think he was there. I just
so in my mind, and I guess I'll go back to what I was going to say about free agency too. I think the Vinny Curry and Lawson signing are great because they make the pressure to draft an edge much less.
Right.
And just like Corey Davis and Cole, in my opinion, make the pressure to draft a wide receiver early much less, especially if you keep Crowder and Mims develops, then you're cooking there. But I think that in free agency, the thing I like about Joe Douglas's moves was that he improved both the wide receiver position and the edge position over what was on the roster the year before and scheme fit wise. So because that Cole is going to do a lot of Debo Samuel type stuff for us, crossing routes and like reverses, things like that.
I understand that, and that's why if you continue to look on, I only drafted one receiver. But to answer your question regarding the defensive end / edge position, as we know, D linemen get rotated quite a bit. So outside of Curry and Lawson, considering the people that we let go, like Anderson, like Basham, like other guys, we don't know really other ends aside from Phillips and
Huff.
And the two that
I think Huff is going to be in that mix.
I don't know if his hand's going to be in the dirt in the 4-3, if he's going to be, a weak side linebacker. I'm just not sure. And I
And
don't.
I still like Franklin Myers, guys. I still like Franklin Myers.
I think Franklin Myers is an interior tackle though, and I think Phillips is the end.
Yeah, Anderson wasn't a scheme fit either way.
And I like them both. But I'm saying, as we know, like they rotate them, so you got to put someone in the rotation, and he got picked at 66. So I stand pat on that.
Well, what I'm saying here too is like, all right, you look at a Collins who you love and I like very much too, but he is not considered by most pundits to be the consensus number one linebacker off the board.
No.
That's probably Jeremiah Owusu from Notre Dame.
Actually, it's the Penn State linebacker, I think.
Or Micah Parsons. Yeah.
Micah,
Right.
So, but Nick Bolton is a guy that is trending up big time as a scheme fit for some of these teams. So Nick Bolton's in that mix too. And I think
he's a scheme fit for inside linebacker, and we already have Mosley. We already have Gerard Davis that we got in free agency.
I'm not saying for us to draft Nick Bolton. I'm saying that other people will want to draft him, which strengthens your draft here in that.
Would have moved down or something, you saying?
Zaven Collins might fall to 34 based on based on that. So with that said, I don't think that we need to draft the edge at 66 as much as we need to draft the right tackle. If we want to make an improvement over Fant, if we're rolling with Fant, we roll with Fant.
Or I could have gone cornerback there.
I don't know what you're getting at cornerback that would be a higher value pick than an O lineman
at 34
in this draft.
Totally agree.
At 34, 30, at 66.
At 66.
I probably could have gotten Stokes out of Georgia.
That's at 34. You're talking about Stokes. He's probably a 34 selection, not a 66.
He ain't going to 66.
Right. So
if you could get Josh Myers out of the Ohio State. Yes. I think that if you draft Josh Myers could wind up being your starting center for 10 years. He could be a Mangold
at 66.
Yeah, that's a great value at 66.
Yes.
Or Eichenberg at 66. I think is a great value too.
I don't disagree with the Josh Myers pick at all. Not one bit. Eichenberg, I mean, I'm really focusing on the interior lineman, rather than the tackle. But if he's there, I'm not going to disagree with that at all. And if you look, going down to 86, there is from a smaller college, but he's getting rave reviews, Quinn Miernes, or Mierners. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
I don't know anything about him. He was in the Senior Bowl, right?
Yeah, he was in the Senior Bowl, mashing it up.
And he had a great Senior Bowl through all the practices and everything. Coaches are raving about him.
How big is he?
Huh?
What's his dimensions?
I'd have to look it up.
I think he fit the part, though. He wasn't undersized or anything like that. I think he fit the part.
He's got all the measurables,
Yeah.
But
he
was also known as like he did his thing. He did his thing.
I say he was pretty top heavy.
He had his belly. He had his belly out. I think he had a belly shirt on. He was wearing that a lot. Oh, well, this is what I would say. I didn't. Josh didn't suck per se. You know what I mean? I was just kind of Josh.
That's a ringing endorsement. His draft didn't suck.
It didn't really suck.
He's trying to freak me, but lightly beat me at the same time.
No, listen. I like the first two picks. I mean, obviously Zach. And then I like the guard / tackle out of USC as well. At number 23, I think where we vary is number 34, where you didn't draft a running back at all during the entire draft, so I thought that was a miss. And hey, that's the way you wanted to go about it. I felt like that was a miss. I think we don't have to draft somebody at 34. If ATN is there or Najee Harris is there at 34. Based on how our roster is constructed, I need somebody at the top of that running back group, and I don't think we have it at this point in time. Just because
I love Ty Johnson, though. I think he's a sleeper, a player that we already have. Mm-hmm. I know Kyle McKenna likes him too. He and I were talking about him throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, when you watch a running back run and just play, it comes out at you right away, whether or not they have it or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think he's got it. I think he can play if given the opportunity and if given the right protection.
Ty Johnson reminds me a lot of Philip Lindsay, who's another guy that we were a little disappointed that we missed out on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about that for 2 years. Like if Philip Lindsay was available, that would be a nice addition to what we're doing. But I think Ty Johnson's like a Philip Lindsay light right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, maybe even just equal because Philip Lindsay hasn't had the greatest career after that rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree with you, Brian, too, about like Etienne is a very, very good scheme fit.
Yeah.
For what we're doing. But I guess the question is, and I think that you and Brandon have differing views on this, is what is a bigger need right now, running back or linebacker? And then the second part of that is where past the Zach Wilson acquisition do you start drafting best player available rather than need, reaching for need?
I think it starts at 23. So I'm not, listen, if there's a weapon that falls and it ends up in that 23 slot, wide receiver wise, I just wouldn't draft a running back as high as 23. At the edges, I don't think we're going to get anything that's worth our time at 23. But I think at cornerback, some of those, cornerbacks that are going to be drafted between 10 and 15 might drop to 23. It might be somebody
like
that
a
we
J.C.
look
Horn.
Exactly. Exactly. So somewhere in that mold might fall that and end up in that 23 slot as well.
Or a Christian Darrisaw out of VTech could be there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking for like protection for my quarterback that I've just picked at number 2. So you might have it may not be Vera Tucker, but you have a Christian Darrisaw that may happen. It's not going to be Slater, but you have maybe Creed Humphrey that's going to be there.
That's a reach to me. I mean, drafting Creed Humphrey at 23?
No, that 34 maybe, but not at 23.
I'm just giving you guys a list of quality linemen that are going to be there.
Well, listen, there's so many. There are so many. I think you have an opportunity to wait on them. If AVT is there, I think he's probably one of the top guards that you have.
No-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. But if he's not there, then drafting somebody at 34 and waiting on that guard slash,
that's fine.
I think it's fine too. I think the draft was pretty good. I would have gone offensive weapon at 34 if that's available. If Etienne is there, I think I draft him instead of Collins. I just think middle linebacker, weak side, strong, whatever. It's just not somebody that I'm going to put value on at number 34.
He's an outside linebacker who covers.
He's a utility linebacker.
Well. No, I get that. Linebacker, period. You could say utility Swiss Army knife dude type linebacker. You could say, bludgeoned type linebacker. I don't care what you call him. He's just not my 34 guy.
He's a Bill Belichick type of linebacker.
If you draft that Jeremiah guy from Notre Dame, you're drafting Darren Lee too.
I don't want
in my opinion.
No.
He's more of a strong safety.
Right.
But what if Devontae Smith is there at 23?
Oh, it's done. What?
What?
I'm running up with my card like this.
Yeah.
Of course.
What? Why would you say? Why would you ask that question?
Well, here's my thing though.
I'm asking that question because there's 2 receivers on Alabama that have differing opinions throughout there of who is the better guy, and receivers.
I think Waddle might fall. But go ahead.
Unless it might be Waddle that falls, or maybe Devontae Smith that falls because he's like Vincent Jackson. Like he's very skinny, and he's not. A lot of the things they did with him at Alabama were because he wasn't good against press coverage. They did a lot of things with him in space, so that's a big knock for a receiver going into the NFL. Like not being able to get off the line of scrimmage if you're going against the number 1 corner on the other team.
So you throw him in the slot, though. Either one of those guys.
I'm not diminishing his value. I'm just saying that
he might drop because of it.
There's not a lot of Julio Jones in any drafts anymore, where you're going to spend a top 5 pick on a wide receiver. And he's going to be the guy, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, and like he's going to be that guy for 15 years. There's just not a lot
wide
of those.
receiver, and I agree with this. The wide receiver position is going by the wayside as the running back position.
Mm-hmm.
By the wayside? I wouldn't say by the wayside.
Not by the wayside. In terms of, are you going to commit that kind of draft capital to as high as you are to that type of player? When the gap is significantly closing in terms of the differentiation between one and the other.
Corey Davis was the third player picked in the draft.
I thought you said Corey Davis went 6.
Or am I wrong about that?
He was 6.
He was
3, but that was 3-4
draft.
years ago.
But I'm saying we signed him as coming off an arguable 1A in Tennessee to AJ Brown.
No, he was clearly a 2. I can't. He was not a 1A out there. He was a 2.
But let's call him a 2. That was the 6th pick in the draft.
Well, he worked himself into a 2. I mean, it's not. They drafted him like a 1. He played like a 2. So now they didn't give him the 5th-year option. Do you think they're going to do that to Brown? No, they're going to give Brown the 5th-year option. They're going to pick that up because the talent dictated.
Where was Brown drafted?
He was a first rounder. I don't remember exactly where he was selected.
Wasn't early though.
Well, here's the deal.
It was first half. First half.
There was a plethora of good wide receivers over the past couple of years where you could pick somebody up at 17 or 20 or whatever, and they end up. Think about who was the Vikings guy that I was all over, Jefferson, right?
Yeah,
Jefferson, and where he was drafted. I mean, he was drafted in the teens.
I think 22.
22.
Well, hopefully Denzel Mims is one in those guys.
Yeah,
too,
absolutely, because he was in that draft. But
none of us thought that he would drop as far as he dropped.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, again, that was
but he also wasn't the top 3 or 4 receiver coming out.
But he was a first rounder.
He was a first round talent.
I understand that, but he wasn't the top 3 or 4 again. But he wasn't the top 3 or 4 receiver coming out. You're talking about a guy that won the Heisman and looks like he could be the top 1 or 2A receiver.
He's not dropping down to 23 regardless. There's just even if he's relegated to go in the top 10. Yeah. If he drops, he's not getting.
Somebody's trading up for him. Somebody's going to trade up for him at that point.
I don't think he's dropping either. It's fun. It's fun to throw that out there and see how you guys react.
Here's my only thing. I think when you look at our offense and what it needs, and the only other thing with the draft is that who are you afraid of on our offense? Who are you afraid of? Who is going to keep the defensive coordinators facing us up at night? I don't think there's anybody there. All we did was replace Perriman with Davis. You know what I mean? So from that perspective, I think we really have to find that person in the draft. And it's either the running back that we go a little bit higher and say ATN maybe is that guy at 34. Or maybe it's the running back from Memphis that we draft in the 4th or 5th round. But if that's the case, then maybe it's Bateman. Or maybe it's the guy from Purdue who's a home run hitter, right? So that's when I look at the guy from Purdue that at 34 is a potential. And when you think about Crowder, he's basically on a 1-year deal for $10 million. Who are you going to replace him with at the slot? And
Jalen Cole, we already have him. Jalen Cole.
He's not a home run hitter guy. And again, he's somebody that if Jacksonville really loved him to that degree, we wouldn't have him.
Who cares about Jacksonville?
We keep going back to that as our point of, if we sign this free agent, then their team didn't want them anyway. I mean, we can't keep going back to that to justify.
Listen, but go back to this.
Signing someone.
I mean, did you have to research the guy's name, or did you know who the guy was?
I didn't know who the guy was.
Right. I mean, you didn't even know who the guy was. If you're saying he was talented, listen. All I'm saying is this: who's going to keep the defensive coordinator up at night? Do we have the guy on the roster? If we don't, I'm just saying, if I'm looking at the draft, we should be thinking about somebody in that 34 to put there.
I'll put it to you this way. This was the offseason where a lot of hard cuts had to be made because of the cap. You know what I'm saying? The value of the cap went down. So, to use that argument isn't 100% fair. And, secondly, with the new coaching staff, the new offensive coordinator, and the guys that we have on offense right now, Crowder, Mims, Davis, Cole, that receiving core looks pretty good. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully our offensive coordinator can put them in a good position to succeed with the right quarterback, being Zach Wilson, of course. And we kind of look better than not. You know what I'm saying? So I have confidence in what we have there right now. We just have to get a fifth and maybe sixth if they decide to keep a sixth receiver on the roster, just to, that guy that a little utility, someone that can also return kicks or what have you. You know what I'm saying? Just to, plug him in. But I like the 4 receivers that we have now. I wasn't 100% sold on Davis, but then I think you guys sold me on him. And, if you combo it together, I think Davis and Mims are going to make each other better, So, that's what I have to say about that.
And to your point, Brian, I don't necessarily disagree with you at 34. If there's somebody there like the Alabama running back, then I think that might be a no-brainer to get him there at 34 because he can run inside, outside. He's definitely a scheme fit as far as,
one cut.
We've signed Tevin Coleman, so he's right. He's a one-cut guy as well. But if he absent of that, if he's not there, then I'm going another offensive lineman at 34, like Wyatt Davis. And then at 66, I'm going to get Josh Myers.
I love Wyatt Davis, by the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's another option for us. So many options.
And I know that's a reach. Yeah. It could be a reach at right. I know it could be a reach at 34. He probably should go somewhere in the early part of the later in the
Wyatt Davis?
In the second round, maybe at like 50.
Wyatt Davis, you talking
40. About? No, I'm sorry, Josh Myers.
Josh Myers, yeah.
I mean that Wyatt Davis could go later in the second round, but where he's going to end up going, we're not going to be able to pick. He's not going to last until 66. So if I'm reaching for anything, then I'm reaching for him at 34.
I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of good linemen. There's Alex Leatherwood. There's
I like.
There's Tevin Jenkins, who I like a lot as well. There's Jalen Mayfield. You know what I'm saying? There's guys out there, man, and who I mentioned before, Creed Humphrey. Who Kyle mentioned before, Myers. There's a lot of good offensive linemen, man, out there.
Kerry likes Sam Cosmi, too.
Cosmi, yeah, he's another good
and that could be first round if nobody else is there at 23.
He's a gigantic dude.
Yeah.
I see us training back at 34.
There's Ben Cleveland,
definitely.
too. Have you guys heard of Ben Cleveland? He's another one.
Ben Cleveland ran a 4.8 40 in his pro day.
Yeah.
He's a guard.
Trey Smith out of Tennessee.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good linemen coming out of this draft.
I don't disagree with you. The problem that I have with that is that we have the splits that we have between 34 and 66, and then 66 and 86. There are going to be so many offensive linemen that are going to be drafted during that particular time.
Yep.
So my problem is that I feel like if we don't draft there, then we're going to miss out on what we really want.
Oh, no, I agree with you, Terry. Kerry, my point is between picks 2, 23, 34, and 66, I want to walk out of there with 2 offensive linemen. I would love to walk out of there with 2.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair expectation.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I just want to go back to the size on Quinn Miners. 6'4", 320.
That's the part.
That's a big center.
Yeah, it is.
And one more thing I just wanted to talk before we leave.
Myers. You mean Josh Myers?
No, I'm talking about
the guy you drafted.
The guy you drafted.
Okay.
The guy from Wisconsin.
You don't know their name. Look at you. You be messing up names.
I'm just going to go back real quick to free agency, and I think like maybe a little bit of a sleeper signing was Tyler Kroft, who had half the receptions of Chris Herndon, but the same amount of touchdowns in only 4 starts. And he's a gigantic dude. He's 6'6", 260.
Yeah.
And he blocks.
So I think that
Rutgers product.
Yeah, is he? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he's out of Rutgers.
So
I'm just a little side thing. I met him. I directed a thing, a little sketch with him, Tyler Eifert, and the other receiver from Rutgers too, Mohamed Sanu. And I went to Cincinnati, and it was the touchdown dance. It was him and oh my gosh, his name was Orlando, an actor. I forget his name. And it was basically he was the coach teaching them how to do the touchdown dance. So it was a sketch, and it was really cool. It worked out well. It got a lot of clicks, and he was one of the guys doing the sketch, and really nice kid.
That was when you were doing the AOL stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that you know, you kind of threw a little shade on this guy, but I think Hardy, the special team corner that we signed, he could be one of the best gunners in the NFL.
I threw shade on him because I don't know much about him, so I'm willing to be proven
For 3 years? For 3 years?
Well, I mean, what you're doing is you're signing a special teamer.
Probably a 2-year deal, with, you know what I mean? So you
Yeah.
can get out of it after 2.
I didn't really look at. I wasn't familiar with what the number was, but
3 years, 6.7.
That's not a lot of money.
Let's move on real quick. All right, so this is going to be a quickie, and then after that, let's do a little Knicks talk. So what we have here are Jets signings. All right, we've been talking about free agency, the draft, and everything. So just sum it up all quick for us. Who's the best signing the Jets had this free agency season? Who's the worst signing? And then who's the sleeper? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first since I already kind of started. I didn't realize that we weren't in this segment already. I think Croft is a sleeper. I think that Lawson is the best signing, with 1A being Corey Davis. I definitely, you guys know that I was not the biggest hater of Perriman on this show. I gave him a little bit more grace. I thought that
you loved him.
He was hurt. I wouldn't go so far as to say I loved him, but I loved his potential. I think that Davis and Cole are both better than Perriman. So in signing both of those guys, it's a big improvement. And like I said before, like both the edge position and the wide receiver position take a lot of pressure off the draft. And that's what free agency is supposed to do if it's done right, is give you more ability to pick best players available and to build your culture and your quality depth and starters from the draft. So those are mine.
Well, did you say who your least favorite was?
I would say that my least favorite was the Feeney.
Yeah.
And that's just because I'm kind of sick of the Alex Lewis's and the Feeneys being in any way, shape, or form an answer to a problem that we have.
Yeah, if I can just pick up where you left off, hands down, Feeney is my least favorite pick. You look at his gradings in basically every single offensive guard category. He's near the last. He's really at the bottom of the pile, and I don't like that at all. We're trying to make our team better, and I'm not a fan of that signing whatsoever. I don't care if it was a veteran minimum, but he even got more than that. I think we should just get rid of him and cut him and, promote from within. Maybe move, what's his name, Ogaba into guard, or using Kerry's favorite lineman that hasn't gotten a chance yet and getting him started at guard instead of signing this guy. I wish him luck and everything, but I don't want him on the Jets. It's my least favorite signing. My sleeper is Keelan Cole. I think he's a good receiver. I was disappointed at first when we did sign him. I admit it, only because I really, really wanted Juju Schuster. But I'm definitely happy that we have Keelan Cole. I think he's an added element. I think he's an additional weapon. And honestly, I had him in fantasy, and he performed for me better than I thought he would a couple years ago. So that's how I know some of his stats and how good he is and how good he can be. And then my favorite signing, just like probably all of us here, it's probably a general consensus. It's Carl Lawson, man. We haven't had a good edge rusher since like John Abraham. I'm by no means comparing him to John Abraham. But we need someone on the outside that can just put pressure on that quarterback and kind of, add to the defense and make our young cornerbacks better and be able to learn on the fly since they're put in that position. And nothing helps out more than pressuring the quarterback as far as your grooming as a cornerback and your confidence. So that's my favorite. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, when we traded John Abraham and got a pick for him, guess who we ended up getting as a result? You guys may know this. Because, everyone's like, John Abraham, how could they let him go? Da-da-da-da. We got Nick Mangold.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I mean, I guess we kind of have to take it. It could have been worse, right? Because we love Nick Mangold.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, to your point, 23 could be Vera Tucker, and we traded Adams. So,
Yeah.
look at it that way.
That's
but
what I'm looking at.
I'll go next. I agree with most of everything that you guys are saying. My number one guy is Carl Lawson in terms of who was acquired in free agency. I love Corey Davis. But I think Carl Lawson will have the greatest impact in terms of as a unit improvement on our team. The worst, the one that I'm not feeling the most is obviously Dan Feeney. And for obvious reasons, I'm not even going to go into it because it just makes me mad every time I think about it. But my sleeper is actually Sheldon Rankins, because I think what he does is improves on a position of strength that we already have. When you include Quinnen and Fatukasi and Shepard, this is going to be a track where going to be a rotation where there is no rest for the weary.
That's what I'm saying.
On that line.
Linemen get rotated.
Right? So what will happen is you got guys that can be on the edge with Carl Lawson, and then on the other side, either Phillips or Franklin Myers, and then hopefully Zuniga will show something for us. So when you improve on a position of strength, where we already were on that defensive line, everything else, it makes everything else easier for the guys that are behind you.
Well said, Kerry. Brian, finish this off for us so we can move on, brother.
Yeah, so for me, top signing was Carl Lawson, right? When you look at that signing right there, I think he's the epitome of an ascending player that I think will do great with the system that we have going on, and I think he's going to turn those pressures into actual sacks. So I definitely like that signing the most. The least, I think we mentioned that as well. When you look at Dan Feeney, 35th out of 35 centers in pass block win rate. 50th out of 69 guards in 2019. Why give that dude money? I just don't understand it. I get that you want bodies from that perspective, but bodies that aren't going to increase the level of competition in that offensive lineman group just doesn't make any sense to me. You spend
Where did he go to school, like Butler or Lafayette or something?
I don't know. Anyway, so $3.5 million should have been spent elsewhere. And really the one that I think is underrated is Vinny Curry. Really like that pick. Philadelphia Eagle, rotational guy, always able to come in and put pressure on the quarterback. I think Brandon Graham, I think, is another one that's out there that I think, on the Eagles, they like to rotate their guys and they get pressure from the outside. Vinny Curry's definitely been part of that. So I think that's definitely an underrated signing. Couple him with Rankins. We already talked about the rest of the defensive lineman group out there. Wow. It's going to be tough, man, mixing and matching those guys. Really looking forward to seeing that. So those are my three.
I'll go out on a limb and say Feeney is not on the opening day roster.
Yeah.
Good.
Hopefully.
Good. And you know what? As they say, it's best.
Speaking truth to power.
I think it's Robert Sala's philosophy as well as our GM. When you build a team, you got to build from the inside out. So we can see that as evidence as far as the defensive line is concerned. He needs to focus more on the interior of the offensive line and build out as well. But with that being said, guys, instead of talking football, we have really unpacked it there. Let's talk a little New York Knicks, all right? So the NBA trade deadline, it came and it passed. The Knicks didn't make any moves now, but did they need to? How should the Knicks address Mitchell Robinson's injury? You know, he's got a broken foot now, as well as some of the other injuries on the team and everything. How are we looking now, guys? Who wants to start that off with a little Knick talk? Let's start with the trade deadline first, and you know, any apprehensions like why didn't the Knicks, you know, do this or that? Because I know Brian's got an opinion.
Do I? Well, I'll go there since you called me out. I would say that I like the fact that we kind of stood pat at the trade deadline, not knowing what was going to happen to Mitchell Robinson, obviously. But you know, at the trade deadline, we had a small trade. Sent out Austin Rivers, got back a second rounder and a couple of end of the roster type guys. But we didn't make any crazy trades or lose any trades and send out any of our draft capital in the first round, which I think is going to be super important for us. And we didn't bring on people that weren't going to be a good fit for us as well, as far as culture and as well as scheme fit from that perspective as well. So I think we did good just standing pat and being patient. Because a lot of regimes in the past with the Knicks have been impatient and made moves that really only spoke to what was going to happen today versus what was going to happen into the future. And what I'm going to bring up is what our cap space is going to look like next year.
What's that?
I mean, I think we're going to have $60 million to spend next year. And when you think of some of the people that made that were traded, like Oladipo, or the guy from Orlando that I really liked as well.
Fourier.
Yeah, Fourier and stuff like that. They're going to be free agents next year, so they're rentals for their teams at this point in time. So we're going to have some dollars to spend. Derrick Rose comes off the cap. Ntilikina, Burks. Some of these guys you want to re-sign, right? Burks is definitely a re-sign for me. Rose is a re-sign for me. Peyton goes, you know, at $6 million. Noel, do you pay him $5 million? Maybe he's up for a raise at that point in time. Bullock, you know, I mean, you could probably replace him with a small forward starter versus paying him the $4.2 million. Taj Gibson probably comes back for a lower number, but really, Julius Randle, you're paying 19.8 next year.
And he's earned every bit of it.
That's a team option, and he's worth every bit of it. RJ is at 8.6, and the next guy you pay is Obi Toppin at $5.1 million.
Not bad at all.
So you have a lot of flexibility next year. You have 2 first-round picks as well. So you can really remake this roster to what you want it to be at this point in time. So I really like the way they stood pat. Now, you have the Mitchell Robinson injury, which we're going to go into as well, which kind of leaves you out there and a little thin at center. But I like the fact that we're going to try to tough it out with the roster that we have currently.
So I think that losing out on Drummond, it tweaks me a little bit, just because of all the things you just said about our payroll right now, and if we had the ability to bring in somebody like him, even for a 1 year, and then maybe entice him to re-sign, we would have had the capital to do so. We were talking a little bit off air about this, like bringing in somebody like a Drummond now. Could be comparable to like an Xavier McDaniel in the late 80s, where you bring in a veteran presence that can score and also brings an attitude to things. I don't know if you guys remember, but the Knicks never wore black sneakers until that playoff series. I believe it was 1989, where X-Man came and they all came out in the black shoes, and it was a big deal for me. It was like, yeah, we made the playoffs and we're going to like punch you in the face. We might not win, but at least we're going to punch you in the face. And I think that the Knicks now are turning a corner with Tibbs and a return to physical, methodical, high-level defense basketball. They also have some sharpshooters. I think people knew that Quickly was a good shooter, but the guy's not afraid. He has no fear to take a shot from any place beyond the arc. And then I think Bullock and Burks
Yep.
are very good shooters. And
Barrett is coming along too. His 3-point
Barrett,
percentage has moved up tremendously.
yeah, Barrett's an 18 points a game guy
Yeah.
right now. So and he's not, and he's a lunch pail type of 18 points. He's not, you know, he if he's not shooting well, he gets to the line. He's unselfish. He plays on both sides of the court. So, you know, I think that the Julius Randle effect on RJ Barrett has been tremendous. And then if you watch the game last night, 2 nights ago against the Bucks, actually no, it was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
You know, there was no Julius Randle, and RJ Barrett was like, all right, let's go. And you know, I know Giannis's little brother, who used to be on the D League team for the Knicks,
Thanos.
With an Infinity Stone. He had a pretty good game last night, but the Knicks grinded last night, and I'm super impressed with RJ Barrett, and I love that he's on our team right now, and I love how he's developing. And then Toppin had a pretty good game last night. I know that you guys were talking about, well, you know, like maybe the minutes will help him out a little bit. You know, he showed some range. You know, he defended, he rebounded a little bit, and again, you know that sometimes I just watch the highlights because I'm out here, so I don't see all the lowlights.
Yeah.
But it's you know, I agree with Brian. You know, staying pat was good. Again, it's the same thing with NFL free agency. You can't make Drummond sign with you. You know, you can't make that happen.
You could trade for him. I mean, that's the only thing, and we can go back to JD too with that. You could trade for him, and then they got to play for you. So as long as you don't give up too much capital for it, you know.
I don't think any of us wanted to really give up too much assets for a guy that was on the verge of a buyout. So you know, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Thunder already waived Austin Rivers, and now he's a free agent. And they're saying that he might sign with the Bucks.
Well, good for him.
That's the current favorite.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even, no shade, man. No shade. I mean, for real. Like, you know, I think he came in, bought into the culture. It just so happened that we brought in Derrick Rose and traded for him. I mean, so, you know, it is what it is.
And he had difficulty playing defense. And he had difficulty playing defense. To Kyle's point, I love the comparison to Xavier McDaniel. The difference here is that Drummond doesn't fit what Xavier McDaniel did for the Knicks at that time, which was to bring a culture and to continue the culture of defense and hard-nosed play. Drummond is not fitting into what culture has been built, to the culture that has been built by Tibbs. And that's playing defense, playing together, sacrificing yourself, and your stats to win. And, you know, Randall epitomizes that. RJ Barrett epitomizes that. Bullock epitomizes that. It seems like every guy on this team epitomizes that type of play. And when you bring somebody in like Drummond and you have an expectation that he's going to do that, I don't see him being that guy. Not to mention the fact that he went to the Lakers because he wanted to win a ring. And I can't be mad at you for that. Mm-mm. What I do want to point out is that we did make a trade at the deadline. The fact is that it was so far before the deadline that it didn't really qualify as a trade deadline move, and that's Derrick Rose. And he has come here, and I know there was a time where he didn't play because he was under the COVID protocol, but he has made a dramatic difference in that second team, in that first team when he plays, when he starts. On IQ, so that to me they might have won the trade deadline sweepstakes.
Yeah, and then they get the second rounder back. You get the second rounder back that you traded him for, and you get him back with the Austin Rivers trade as well. Yes. So
yes. So you keep your assets to find a player or find players that are going to fit in your system in free agency. You have the flexibility at money, and you keep your first and second, your first round picks and your second round picks. And look, guys, this NBA draft in 2021 is loaded.
It is loaded.
It's loaded with guys that we really want, which are 3-and-D guys, which are 6'8", 6'9" wings that can handle the ball and shoot, which are point guards that don't necessarily want to shoot the ball, but can defend and can create off the dribble. So the world is our oyster right now.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA
Plus,
world
we're
is
gonna
our
have the
oyster
cap
right
space.
now. Big fan, you should be excited.
And plus, we're gonna have the cap space.
Plus, we'll have the cap space to sign.
Yeah, and then we have Thibs, who we all love,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
Thibs is great. So it's looking up.
Right.
You know, hopefully Dolan doesn't, you know, ruin anything like the vibe and the culture. Just keep staying out of it. Let Thibs have it. And listen, man, I'm looking forward to it. And you know what? I just hope none of us here, even though the Knicks aren't there yet, are secondarily rooting for the Nets, because I ain't doing that. No way.
That ain't me.
That ain't me either. The Nets.
No, I've never rooted for the Nets, and I'm not going to root against the Nets because they're winning. But I've never rooted for the Nets, and again, I'm not going to be a hater here. You know, I have friends that are Nets.
I'm gonna hate on them a little bit. I'm gonna hate on them just like how I hate on the Lakers.
I hate the Nets getting LaMarcus Aldridge to add to that.
Why? Why is that a problem? I don't understand why there's a problem. LeBron did that every year he was in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You add a player that can help you, and they want to ring. I don't understand.
I don't have a problem with it fundamentally. I just don't like it.
I just hate you. I'm not mad at you. I just hate you.
I just don't like the rich getting richer.
It was kind of like when I sent out that text when Miami made that trade, B, and I was like, "Good trade, Miami." And then I was like, "Screw you, Miami."
Well,
I can't wait for the Knicks to be in a position that the Lakers and the Nets are in, where we can attract whoever we want because they feel like they want to get here to win a ring. That's where I want to be.
We're climbing in that direction. I think we're climbing in that direction. And, you know, let's see what happens in this offseason, because I think this is going to be a big offseason, which will kind of help to catapult that vibe, you know?
Well, I'm enjoying this season right now. And what I'm hoping is that we can win a series and play a 7-game series against Brooklyn and take them to the brink, you know, with all their assets and with all their MVPs, all the, you know, all
Look, guys,
big things. All
Kevin Durant hasn't even played yet. I don't want that. I don't want that.
You're great core.
I'll take it. I'll take Curry. I'll take all that smoke. You know what I mean? I am 100% with Kyle. I'll take all that smoke because we have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose at all, and we play defense. We're going to make every single possession tough for them. We're not going to give up. Think about the Nets game that we had the other day. They clearly will have more talent on the other side. Right. Well, that's okay. That's okay. It's all right. It's all right.
None of these teams know what's coming.
Oh, well, that's perfect. That's perfect. And we are so naive that we don't care. We don't know that we're supposed to lose. That's where you're supposed to be at, right? I'm fine. I'll take all that.
Let me see y'all in the second round. I don't want to see you in the first.
No, in the second round. No, that's what I'm saying. I hope we win a series and then we do that.
And then if we play the Nets, I hope someone, you know, like on the Nets tweaks their ankle because of all this tough defense.
Oh, now you're wishing.
Really? That's what you're doing?
I'm playing.
I'm not endorsing that. No.
I didn't say break it. Just a little light tweak. That's all. You know.
I can't be wishing no bad juju on somebody.
A little soft tissue injury. I see.
No soft tissue. You know what I'm saying? No surgeries. No surgeries.
High ankle sprain.
I would have liked to. I would really like to see the Knicks and the Nets play each other with their full rosters healthy. You know, and that includes the Knicks having Mitchell Robinson.
Sure.
Which isn't going to happen now.
Well, that's not happening this year.
Probably for the rest of the season. So,
anyway, I'll tell you what's happening, though. My outro. All right. So, listen, everybody. Thanks for watching another episode of the BKBK podcast. We want to be able to keep bringing you the latest news and viewpoints of where sports and the culture collide, and the New York Jets reign supreme. Come on, guys. Keep watching us, all right? You can find us on Facebook on our BKBK podcast fan page. Find us on Twitter at BKBK podcast. Instagram at BKBK podcast, as well as on YouTube. When you go to YouTube, just type in BKBK podcast. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button, all right? And share us. Share us all over the world, man. We're trying to go viral and, you know, just build up the brand here. And, you know, if you can't watch us, you can listen to us, all righty? You can listen to us. Just go to bkbkpodcast.podomatic.com. All righty. You can find that, and you can just listen to us, in the car, plug your phone in, go Bluetooth, and just vibe out to this whole BKBK vibe. All right. So listen, guys and girls, that's it. Let's go Jets. Let's go Baldwin Bruins, and let's go BKBK. All right.
That's
Wind this
right.
up, B. Good show.